It's time, everyone, for another spooky movie review. Now, I'm going to try to do a spooky review every single day until, well, not to the end of October, because towards the end of the month I will be going out of town, and actually I'll be going to New York and spending my Halloween there. I've never been to New York on Halloween, but I'm sure it's pretty wild and has all the creepy haunted houses and things like that. But until I go to New York, and maybe not on weekends, but I will try to be cracking out these scary movie reviews once a day. Tonight's is a movie that I was truly not expecting to be as scary as it was. Tonight's review is Carnival of Souls. It came out in 1962. And I would classify it as a psychological horror movie. Another movie that I could compare it to is The Innocents, which is actually a fairly popular film that I'm sure most horror buffs know about. But Carnival of Souls is a psychological horror movie, and it stars a woman named Candace Hilligoss. I looked her up, and I guess she didn't have too much of a career. She was an untrained actress at the time of this movie, never been trained much. So the director, Herk Harvey, just kind of took her off the streets or something, and put her in his movie. And actually, Herk Harvey stars in the film as well as the man who is this. Well, I'll get to the plot. So, and The Innocents, it's worth noting, came out a year before this. I don't know if it had any impact on Herk Harvey's decision and the way he filmed it and having the woman seem like she's losing her mind, but I don't know. It's just worth noting. So, the story starts out with a group of kids driving their cars way too fast. They're racing. And the protagonist of the movie, this woman, this blonde woman who's very pretty, Candace Hilligoss, she's in one of the cars, and the car goes over a bridge, and it goes over the bridge into a river, and everyone in the car ends up dying except for her. She comes out of the water, everyone's confused where she has been, and she doesn't remember. So she happens to be an organist for a church. She's quitting her job in this small town and moving away to become a organist in another church, apparently in Nevada. So she's driving her car, I believe, around sundown or in the evening. And this is where things start to get really spooky, in my opinion. She's driving her car and she sees this great, I don't know what to call it. It's not a mansion, but this great building, this palace looking place off in the distance. And what the director did is he filmed it from very far from what she would be seeing. I thought this shot of the place she was passing by was just extremely creepy. Like something out of a nightmare. Like, why would anybody want to go to this place? But it ends up being very important to the plot of the story, because she just kind of gets obsessed with this place. So she drives by it, she moves into a little house, and she sets up as the organist of a local church. And it's a lot. The entire soundtrack of the movie is organ music. So this also creates just an extremely creepy vibe. I know it doesn't sound scary for me to say that the organ music is creepy, but it really is. So she's all set up, but she keeps seeing this man. And the man is, well, he's very, very creepy, very scary. And the scary people in the movie are known as ghouls. They're dead people, and what this main guy, he has just a plain white face, and they all have very dark eyes. So it's like they're dead. They're not zombies, they're ghouls. I don't know the exact difference, but the ghouls in this movie are definitely very creepy. The makeup was great. And the name of this place in real life that she's just obsessed with and she keeps having visions of, you can Google it. It's called Saltair. Saltair. It used to be a beach resort in Salt Lake City. And at the time of the movie, it was abandoned, which gave it that creepy vibe, that scary vibe. And I never want to give too much away, especially with horror movies. But there is a scene that I really want to note, and it's when she is in the church. She's already been through a lot. She keeps having visions of this man, this really scary ghoul. And I can't emphasize enough how creepy he looks. Like, you can Google, or I'd actually prefer you to watch the movie and see it. But so she's in the church just practicing her music, and out of nowhere she gets into a sort of trance, like something is controlling her finger movements, and she stops playing, hymns, and she starts playing this super disturbing, I want to say, this just haunting music that is a little bit like carnival music, I guess you could say. So she's playing this carnival music on her organ, and she starts having visions, and she sees the ghouls coming out of the water, one of them being that man who's played by the director. She sees them come out of the water, and my gosh, this scene is so scary. Even for now, I would say it's scary. It's disturbing, and then she sees these ghouls just start dancing and dancing in this abandoned place, this abandoned carnival, and it's like they're calling her to go there. And it's just, and along with the organ music, man, this this movie really is a psychological horror movie. Please watch it, because if I were giving ratings for horror movies, I would definitely give this movie a very high rating, and I would put it definitely alongside The Innocents, because they're very similar to each other. It was a box office failure at the time. It only cost, I believe, around $30,000 to make it, but what they did with that $30,000 is pretty astounding. The shots that the director does of Saltair from far are just very haunting, and even when she's walking around Saltair, he does some shots from above, like someone is watching her, like she's being stalked by this man, and he just does a great job at making it a good horror film. It was not a box office hit at the time, but today it is definitely considered a cult classic, has a pretty large following, and George Romero even says to this day that he was influenced by this movie, and of course he made Night of the Living Dead, and you can kind of see that, but certainly watch this movie. And whoa, do you see my I don't know if you could see my candle, but it's fluttering for no reason. Oh my god, I'm scared, guys. I wasn't even breathing or talking when it was doing that. But anyways, I gotta go because I'm freaked out, and I'm gonna watch another scary movie tonight. I'll be out with another review tomorrow. Good night, guys.